So, from a macro perspective, no, not at all. Not at all. From a micro perspective, however, they are. Macro, we knew the Cowboys were going to win the NFC East. That is what they've made it abundantly clear they're going to do. Macro perspective, we knew the Cowboys had one of the best offenses talent-wise probably we've seen in the last decade between CD, between Amari, between Zeke, between Dak. Also, Michael Gallup, he's just been injured. Macro perspective, we knew the Cowboys had brought in Dan Quinn as a defensive coordinator to really turn things around. From a macro perspective, we knew the Cowboys were going to be good, and we would be lying if we came in saying we don't think they're going to be good. However, it's the micro perspective that is really kind of making me go,
What does that mean?
What's going on here?
Yeah.
Why are the Cowboys better than we thought? And I think about it like this. I'm a defender, Sal's a defender. We talk defense on this show. Energy, effort, execution. Those are the three components that are making this Cowboys team, particularly on defense, better than we thought.
Are the Cowboys better than we thought? Don't y'all throw me in this with y'all haters and naysayers. Better than y'all thought. I always look at the game as a talent-based conversation, and it's amazing to me that people like you who have played the game also get fooled and think it's about something else other than the talent. You know what's happening with the Dallas Cowboys right now? Finally, they've hit the equal sign. All of that talent, individual names, individual talents, individual greatness is starting to add up. And now you're starting to see it equal into this level of success. Cowboys could easily be undefeated right now. They're not. They have one blemish. But let me tell you why I never came out with conviction, but confidence with this Dallas Cowboys team. Because they always found a way to undercut themselves. Like you said, execution. They couldn't execute. They couldn't make it all add up. So I always had to scratch my head and say, what's going on with these Dallas Cowboys? But then I got reminded watching the NBA this year and seeing the champion Milwaukee Bucks and your boy Giannis go out there. And I got reminded that I was always right, even when I'm wrong. Let's talk about this. There was a team by the name of the Brooklyn Nets that the Milwaukee Bucks had to go through. And that's the talent team, right? They didn't even have to play together in the regular season. They were tapping out for all kind of reasons, racial reasons, personal reasons. They didn't even want to play together and still found themselves in the same moment as the team that will be the eventual champion Milwaukee Bucks. And what happened in that moment? The talent was winning, just like I thought, just like we know. And then the talent got hurt. The talent didn't fully execute. And all of a sudden, the other team prevails. In this conversation right now, if the Dallas Cowboys don't get hurt, if the Dallas Cowboys continue to come together, oh, yeah, they're going to have a great, successful season. Let me give it to you like this also. Stop giving all the props to Dan Quinn. I am not going to shoot at Dan Quinn, but I'm also going to give some love to yesteryear. You didn't do this, and you wasted all that energy, lost your breath, went to the big board to give Dan Quinn some love, and forgot about these Cowboys last year. Who? Them. Let's go. If the Dallas Cowboys have at least 2 takeaways in their last 7 games, Acho, I know you went to Texas, but still you can do this math. How many games have they played this year?
3, sir.
Oh, so that means 4 games last year.
Yes, sir.
Oh, if the Dallas Cowboys have at least 1 takeaway in 11 of their last 12 games, do the math again. How many last year? 9. If the Dallas Cowboys have at least 2 sacks in 6 of their last 7 games, Acho, isn't that? I tried to tell you last year, they coming. Last year, this defense started to roar. Last year, this defense started to soar. But it was too late because they didn't have their franchise quarterback, and they were already basically out of playoff contention despite being in a sorry division. You look at them now this year, leads the league in takeaways. So now you say Dan Quinn. You look at them now, number 1 in turnover margin. So then you say Dan Quinn. All I want to say is what you see now boiling was brewing last year, and that's why I have the confidence now, conviction, that this team's going to ball.
I like your take. I do not love it. Yes, you can see something brewing, but it only boils if somebody comes in and does what? What? Turns up the heat.
No, or
you just long enough.
Or it sits long enough. You know me. It sat long enough.
No,
that talent sat long enough. It's boiling now, baby.
It did not. Last year, the Cowboys, their last 4 games, Cincinnati Bengals without Joe Burrow, San Francisco 49ers without Jimmy Garoppolo, Philadelphia Eagles without a quarterback, and the New York Giants with Daniel Jones. I believe he had a hamstring injury if he even played in that game. I'm sure Giants fans, you will correct me. So don't talk to me about the brew of the Cowboys. Dan Quinn had to turn the brew into a boil, and he is doing that now.
I'll give you some of that. Okay.
Everybody pause, because I'm not going to sit here and get into a competition of who can praise the Cowboys the most in 8 minutes into the show. Cowboys still are only 26th in defense as far as it pertains to yardage allowed. They're only 26 out of 32 teams in total defense. So let's all simmer down real quick, if we shall. They're also only, I believe, 13th right now in points. Now, they're a top 15 defense in points, and they're a top 15 offense in points. That's the most important thing. They are number one in takeaways. That's an incredibly important thing. They're the only team in the NFL with 2 running backs that have over 180 yards. That's incredibly important. They're also the only team, or one of 2 teams in the NFL with 125 rushing yards per game and 275 passing yards per game. That is hugely important. The Cowboys' most impressive feat thus far is their balance. That is what is separating and distinguishing the Cowboys from everybody else. They can go out and Zeke can rush for 90. Zeke's backup, Tony Pollard, can rush for 70, while Dak Prescott can still throw for 250 to 300. They are incredibly balanced, keeping offenses all types of out of whack. But we're not going to act surprised. We knew the Cowboys would beat the Eagles. We knew that. We vehemently knew that. We knew the Cowboys were likely going to beat the Chargers.
No, we did. Don't do all this. Your pronoun game off. But keep talking. I don't want to interrupt you because I am respectful. But don't say we thought they were going to be the L.A. Chargers that just beat the Kansas City Chiefs.
Here is what we do know. The Cowboys beat up on bad teams. Dak Prescott is now 20-6 in the division. He's 20-6 in the division. Why? Because his division is bad. But the Cowboys, who are now 1-14 over the last 2 seasons versus playoff teams, they lost this year to the one team we know that's going to make the playoffs. They beat the team that we know isn't going to make the playoffs in the Eagles. And the Chargers, I can't call them a playoff team if we're not certain. If you indecisive of if they're going to make the playoffs, then they not a playoff team. So the Cowboys did sell what they have always done. That's why I'm not fully convinced that they are better than we thought, because we thought they were good.
Interesting. How should I attack this? There's so many openings right now.
There aren't.
Oh, really? Oh, you think I'm Pacquiao? I got to retire. I can't punch back? I'm going to punch back, big dog, and be president like Pacquiao can't. Let's talk about which team has a better offense. Since you want to poke at the Dallas Cowboys, I'm going to poke at something you never poke at, the Kansas City Chiefs. Who has a better offense right now? Dallas or the Kansas City Chiefs?
Probably the Cowboys.
No, don't say nothing probably. No. Go get on the fence right now. Don't say mama. No probablys. Don't be ambiguous up here, okay? It's the Dallas Cowboys. I wonder who has a better defense. Tell me, Acho, anybody?
Cowboys, I would assume.
Oh, my God. So they're better on offense and defense, but now you want to start going into who have they played conversation. When you don't like the results, you start to get into how the results accumulate. That's unfortunate because that is cooking the books. Dallas Cowboys right now 13th in scoring defense. You bring that up. Do you bring up what they were last year? 28th in scoring defense. Is that drastic improvement? Yes. Give some of that to Dan Quinn, but also give some of that to these boys who started to realize the way to the promised land. Now, you add all this up, I'm starting to see a team that is so talented that is starting to execute, as you said, but also here's one more thing that you're not factoring in. Who's their coach? Mike McCarthy. Now, I don't like your eyebrows right now. Fix them.
Where are you going with this one?
Where am I going with this one?
I didn't want to factor
They are being led to a place that Mike McCarthy knows all too well, a Super Bowl championship. Let me tell you about Mike McCarthy. You remember Mike McCarthy back in Green Bay? How did it start? Started off not so well, right? And in 3 years, he had that team where? Winning a championship with an elite quarterback. Now, Aaron Rodgers is better than Dak Prescott, but they still elite level. All of a sudden, you're starting to see the climb, the ascension to that promised land. Mike McCarthy gets slighted by you for I don't know what reason. What's the point of accomplishing anything in this world if somebody gonna walk up to your accomplishments and say, yeah, but? And that's what you do to his Super Bowl championship. There are only 9 guys in the league as active head coaches that have that thing. And you go up to his and you say, yeah, but. If you look at the last 2 decades of Super Bowl champion coaches, they're all names. And then there's a couple that you could question. Doug Peterson, let's bring him up. That's your boy, I bet, because because you got that Philly love. Who's a better coach, Mike McCarthy or Doug Peterson?
I believe Doug Peterson.
Why he ain't got a job then? Why he out there not gigging right now? Why is Mike McCarthy out there gigging and potentially the best job in the NFL? Because you got the star on your hat. All that adds up to a team that is being led by somebody who's done it before and has done it in the same timetable, same calendar. 3 years, give Mike McCarthy, his team will be there. Looks like they're certainly closing that gap between where they were last year and hoisting that trophy.
So many people in our country, in this life, benefit from something called the statute of limitations. They benefit from that because the statute of limitations, it allows them the ability to not be tried again based upon a certain amount of time that has passed.
And I don't like that law, but go ahead.
So if the statute of limitations can pardon someone from a negative, or it can hinder someone from the detriments of a negative attribute.
You gonna do that?
Then the statute of limitations can also be applied from something that is deemed of positive. Mike McCarthy won a Super Bowl over a decade ago.
Oh, really?
Mike McCarthy did something so long ago that there is a statute of limitations on his perceived brilliance or perceived excellence. Mike McCarthy is a losing head coach without his 2 Hall of Fame quarterbacks and Brett Favre.
How you gonna take him away? What's Phil Jackson without Kobe and Jordan?
Mike McCarthy is a terribly losing head coach. Now the reason I didn't bring up Mike McCarthy is because I think he's the limiting reactant of the Cowboys.
Let's go.
We saw last game, Mike McCarthy, take the timeout, big dog. What you doing? Take the timeout. Take the timeout. Then he has to go explain himself away. We saw earlier in the season for the Cowboys. Who was it against? I think it was against the Chargers or maybe even your Bucks. We're looking at McCarthy like, big dog, what are you, the Bucks or your Chargers, like, big dog, what are you doing? Mike McCarthy is actually the only thing that might stand in the Cowboys' way of winning a Super Bowl or at least getting to an NFC championship game. Dak Prescott showing that he's coming back. I want to see more, as you all know, because I believe Dak Prescott should and can be top 5. Ezekiel Elliott, 95 yards in a game. Let's see back-to-back 75-yard games. Haven't seen that in over 17 games.
Look at that little
CeeDee Lamb, Amari Cooper,
75.
they back. But Mike McCarthy, still much to be desired.
Oh, wow. So you didn't even go statute of limitations. You just you expired. Your greatness expired, huh? Okay, so we doing that with Mike Tomlin? Has his greatness expired? Look at your face right now. I wish I could ask you that in February, see what you do in that month. Let's talk about Sean Payton. Has his greatness expired? It's been over a decade. You can't use decade as... Dog, once you get up there, you got up there. And we can't knock you down and say you're not that guy. Look at the list of Super Bowl champion coaches. No scrubs. I mean, for real, bruh. I mean, you can point out an outlier here or there, but we got to give him his flowers. But all I'm saying is Mike McCarthy, Dan Quinn, and a team that just got tired of not living up to their talent is why you're seeing something of goodness or greatness from these Dallas Cowboys. Oh, it's coming.